Hey there, it's Elizabeth and welcome back. Okay, so today's video is going to be a collaboration with Joie. She is putting together a playlist on her channel and it is going to be about positivity, okay? Either a positivity themed junk journal or a junk journal spread. So make sure you head on over to Joie's channel and check out her playlist for the positivity theme. Okay, we all need a bit of positivity in our days these days. So instead of doing a junk journal, a positivity junk journal, or a positivity journal spread, I decided to show you all how to do something that you can then put into your positivity journal. Okay, now recently I've been working on some of these watercolor cards. I'm making them for my daughter's students. I have another set for the other half of her students, if you will. And so what I've done is I've watercolored these pretty little, they kind of remind me of hydrangeas. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. It's very simple to do. Very simple to do. So let's just get started. Okay, the first thing I did was I cut a piece of watercolor paper. You can honestly, you can do this on anything, but this is a sheet of watercolor that is 8 inches wide by 5 inches tall. You can do it on whatever you want. If you want to make a tag, cut a tag out, you could do it on a tag. And the other thing as well is I used a rubber stamp to put this mason jar here. You don't need that either. You can just simply do a bouquet of flowers if you want, right? But this is what I've been working on, and to me, it just went along with Joie's whole idea of positivity. In this case, my daughter is sharing some of her positivity with her students by sending them a card to say, hey, missing ya, and yeah, hello, and what are you up to, and all of that. Okay, so now let me just, a little, I don't know, whatever that word is called, disclaimer. Okay, disclaimer. I'm not a watercolorist, okay? I really have no idea what I'm doing. I just have fun, all right? I just have fun. I am using some watercolors by Arteza. This is the 36 Premium Watercolor Palette. I love it. I use it quite often. And all the links for this palette will be down below. And yeah, so I will kind of try to explain as I'm going along. I know I'm the type of person, I need like explicit explanation, okay? So that's why you're seeing my dirty rag, my dirty water, my palette, and this. I'm really hoping that you can see where my paintbrush is going and what I'm doing. I know on a lot of tutorial videos that I watch personally, like this stuff for, whatever the creator's purpose is off to the side, which means you can't see what they're doing with their paintbrush. Like, are they using a really watered down brush? Are they drying their brush off? So that's why all this stuff is here, so you can see each and every step that I'm using. Okay, so let's get started. We're dipping our brush in the water. Thirsty brush means there's a lot of water in it. Okay, we're going straight to a dry palette, a dry pan. I'm sorry. Okay, so let me go this way so make sure you can see it. Now we're dipping it in this puddle right here. Back into the water, thirsty brush. Okay, the more water you add over here to your color, the lighter the wash is. Now I have a thirsty blue brush, okay? I am dabbing it, dabbing it, dabbing it, okay? That means that I'm getting a lot of the excess colored water off of the brush. The reason I'm doing that is because this is a layered effect card, okay? It is wet paint on dry paper, and I don't want a lot of it because I want it to dry quickly, okay? So we've dabbed our brush, and we're just gonna go in here, and we're going to make little petals, just like that. It's like a pear shape, right? You start in the middle, go up and around, come back to the middle, and that's it, all right? So we're just going to go and make a lot of these, okay? So start in the middle, go up, go around, drag it back down. Now I see something on my brush. Okay, there was like a little, notice I didn't go back to the palette or to the puddle, okay? Up, around, down, that's it. And these are random, okay? Just totally, totally random. They're kind of almost like triangles. I don't know. Maybe I want that a little bit more rounded. Like pears. They're kind of like pears, okay? Notice again, still have color on my brush, not dipping it back in. Not dipping it back in, okay? We're making little petals, all right? Not dipping it back in, all right? So now we have these petals right here. It'll take moments to dry. That's the reason I dabbed it off onto my rag here, to take some of that water out of my very thirsty brush. We want, it's not a dry brush, but it's just a ever slightly damp brush, okay? Now we're cleaning our brush off, all right? And now we're gonna go into the pink, all right? Let's do pink next. So I go from water, thirsty brush, into a dry pan. I do not saturate my paints first. I go directly from a wet brush right into the pan over here. Okay, now I'm putting it over here in this pink pile, okay? Dipping my brush, right? Getting it thirsty, which means it has water on it. The more water you add to your pile of color, the lighter the wash is gonna be, okay? The less water, the darker. So now we have a very thirsty pink brush. These petals are already dry. So I'm going to tap, 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 3 taps, all right? 3 taps to get that water off my brush, okay? Now, this is what I do personally. I pick a petal and I'm going to layer it. That's why the petals have to be dry before you start on the next layer. So I'm going to do the same exact motion, the same exact pear-shaped, but I'm going like halfway through the blue, all right? Back down again, okay? Just making another petal. Now I did that on the right side, so I'm gonna do them all on the right side, okay? It doesn't really make a difference, honestly, but that's just the way I'm doing it. Have not dipped my brush again, okay? Making more petals. This would be over here, making more petals, all right? This would be over here. Haven't dipped my brush yet. It still has color on it, okay? I'm going halfway, just layering up the flowers, okay? Just layering up the flowers. Still have not dipped my brush, all right? Still have not dipped it. Making little pear shapes, okay? And there you have it, all right? And even on the layered parts here, you have, it's turned purple, right? So you're blending colors as well. And just a little tip for you, so that you don't make mud, you know, I'm using 2 primary colors and then the purple is the secondary color. So in other words, I'm using blue and pink, and then mixed together they make purple, okay? So if you used red and yellow, you know, you could do a very light wash of red and yellow, and then when it comes together, red and yellow make orange, and so on and so forth, okay? All of these are dry now, okay? That's why you dab your brush off, so that you're not painting with a whole bunch of paint, but, sorry for the shadow, but it leaves you with a very soft, very light wash, okay? So now I'm dipping my paintbrush again, going over here to my purple pile, right? Going right into the dry pan, right into the dry pan, into my puddle, okay? Darkening that puddle up a little bit, going back into my water, thirsty brush, back into here, adding more water because I want a very light wash of purple. Now I have a thirsty purple brush. Dab, dab, dab. Okay, 3 dabs. And now we're gonna go ahead and add more petals. So I'm gonna go to the right of this one. Maybe I'll make this one a little bit bigger. It's ever so slight, okay? Ever so slight. We're gonna make another little purple, well, yeah, purple petal there. And I'm still going over to the right. A little purple there, okay? We're gonna leave that one alone because he's kind of close. Okay, haven't dipped my brush yet. I know this is super duper light, but that's what we kind of want. We want a light wash. All right, this one's gonna go directly off the page. Okay. And we're just layering. That's all we're doing, okay? Now let me bring this up for you. Okay, we're just layering. And see that? Except for that little purple over there in the crease, it's all but dry, okay? Super duper simple, dries quickly, and you just want shadows, like, of soft colors, okay? So now we're gonna go again, all right? And we just keep building it up. So wet brush, right? Let's do blue again, okay? So I'm going right into this blue pile that I already have here, okay? And we're going to dab it and dab it, okay? That time, well, let's dab it one more time, okay? All right, and now we're just gonna add onto it. We're just adding right onto the petals that we've already done. We're overlapping, all right? We're just adding more petals. And again, I'm kind of like going to, well, I guess I'm not. Yeah, I was going to the right, but now I'm back into the blue again. So it really doesn't make a difference where you go with this, honestly. Let's see, we'll do a blue one over here, right? We could just overlap a very light blue one here, okay? Right? So now we have some just clusters, and again, see, it's just barely wet, okay? Just barely wet, right? So we're gonna wait for that to dry just a second. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna put pools of water on some of these, all right? Just as like little centers, right? So let me show you how I do that, okay? Wet brush, all right? I'm gonna, I don't know what this is called, squeegee it off on the side, right? Okay. And we're gonna put little dots. This is just water, okay? This is just water. Well, let me dip it again, squeegee it, okay? Squeegee it. And then we're gonna just put little dots of water around kind of like where the petals come together, right? Okay. And then we're gonna go into our mixture right here, okay? Dab it once, and we're just going to dot, 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 dot. Now what that does is it just gives it a little darker shade, okay? Now bring it up so you can kind of see that there are centers to those little petals, right? Okay? Now you can stop right here. You can continue adding on. What I'm gonna show you now is just very quickly how to do the water. So okay, wet brush, sorry. Wet brush squeegeed on the side. We're going over here into this blue section, all right? Very light wash, all right? Dab, dab, because we don't want this to take forever to dry. And we're just gonna do a little very light blue wash, okay? If you feel the need to have more paint on your brush, that's fine, but you don't really have to. See, I did that whole entire area with blue, and it's nearly dry. I mean, the only thing that's still wet are these things up here, right? But they'll dry soon enough, no biggie. All right, let's move on. We're gonna get our brush. And, okay, sorry, squeegeeing it on to the side there, okay? Right into the green, right into the dry green. I want a lot of pigment on this, so, right? I'm not dabbing it. I'm not gonna dab it. I took it straight from the water, squeegeed the water off the side of the jar, went right into the dry paint pan, okay? Now we're just gonna simply, wait, let me see, okay, sorry, thought I had something on my brush. Now we're just gonna take it and just pick a random spot, right, to put the stem. And we're just gonna drag it down, and that's it, all right? You can go over it if you want, whatever, okay? There, Now, if you want to, you can put, I can't remember what that thing is at the top of the plant. I just can't remember. But you can put a few of those things, you know, like that. So it's like the top of the flower kind of thing. All right. Now, oh, sorry, we're squeegeeing off. I might put another stem in here. Yeah, why not? Just very lightly drag it, okay? I'm drying off my brush here a little bit so that I can just get just a hint of the color just a little bit darker. Very light-handed, and we can then put these little stem thingies, right? Okay, so there, and you're done, okay? Well, nope, we're not, sorry, we're gonna put a little shadow, okay? So I'm gonna go to this pile over here, which is just a little bit of brown, sepia, right? Just a wash of gray that I made, just very light gray. We're dabbing our brush because again, we want it fairly dry, but we do want color on it, right? And this is very light. Let's darken that just a tad, okay? We're just gonna darken it just a tad. Hoping that it's not too dark, okay? We're gonna make a little, I'm gonna paint a little shadow here. Again, I have no idea what I'm doing. I just like to play. Brings me happiness, brings me positivity. Okay, so this painting is nearly completely done and it's nearly completely dry, just very soft. You can add as many layers as you want. Just remember to let each layer of color dry, okay? The other tip is if you want more pigment, then use it straight from the pan, okay? If you want a lighter pigment, just a wash, then you have to put it over in this part of the palette and add water to it, okay? The more water you add, the less pigment, obviously, it's gonna become diluted, and so the lighter your color is gonna be, the less water you use, the more bright and vivid the color is going to be, okay? Now, you can also go back into this and with a darker color and you can add some like low lights and things like that. I'm satisfied with it just being this way, just very pastel-y, very light, very cheerful, very airy. And then all you do is you can, what I did, if you feel like it, is you can just put a sentiment, okay? Whatever you want. You can write it in your own handwriting. You can stamp it out. You can do it however you want to do. Now, one thing that I did do on my cards that I'm sending out, or that my daughter's sending out to her students, is if you'll notice, well, this way you can see it as the paint, but this is iridescent watercolor. And if I get it, see, you can see it now. It's iridescent, okay? What I do is I take one of these brushes here. You can see on the bottom of the tips there, if you can see that it is iridescent. I have a pile, believe it or not, right there. So I just wet the brush, okay? I wet the brush, I dab it in this right here. And that, see that? It makes it iridescent, okay? Let's get another brush. And then I just tap it like this. Okay, tap it all over, and then you might not be able to see them now because they're not dry yet, but at any rate, they come out looking like this, looking all shiny. I just like splatters. So, okay. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time and sharing it with me. I hope that you could, you know, see everything I was doing. I hope that I explained it well enough. This is such a fun and easy way to share your positivity with somebody else, to brighten somebody else's day. So make sure that you go over to Joie's channel. I'll have it linked below. take a look at her positivity playlist, and I hope to see y'all real soon. Thanks again. Bye.